Hello, good people. Welcome to our show. Hello, bad people. Welcome to our show. Hello, anyone who want to learn more about SEO, brand recognition. Someone can call it geo. Welcome, because many things are changing fast, but it doesn't mean that you need to change everything what you have. We still have foundation, and it's very important to consider that because Google, ChatGPT, Perplexity, all these models can work for human beings, and we need to find the way how to win results. I'm so excited to discuss a lot more with Jason Barnard. How are you?
Hi, thank you, Tony. It's lovely to be here talking about brand in SEO, GEO, or what I call AI assistive engine optimization.
Yeah, I can't think. I like your podcast because I like your introduction, probably the best introduction at any podcast industry. So,
A quick hello, and we're good to go. Welcome to your own show, Anatoly.
thank you, thank you. Jason, I remember when I first met you, that was SEMrush live stream. I love this experience because we spent some time to develop our agency in Ukraine. That worked fine. We got like number 7 position, good recognition. But at that time, I got it. That was not enough. Not enough because all skills, knowledge that we had, and most of them were related to black hat SEO. And we didn't know how to play by rules because all skills were limited. So I started to learn from big names like Brandon, Rand Fishkin, many others, Neil Patel. And then I opened this SEMrush live stream when you share your ideas about building brand recognition. And the main question was, do we need to get links on social media because it doesn't impact SEO? And when we replied, that was a game changer for me. I got it. No, of course we need it. Because if people can search on Google and have choices between your brand and other brands, if they saw you on social media, it means you can increase the chance of getting these clicks. When you share this, I got it. Wow, I need to change a lot. I need to think more broadly. I need to build my brand recognition. Jason, I love this experience, and for now we pay more attention to brand recognition than SEO for creating content for humans than anything else. Jason, before we start, just tell more about yourself, experience, background, because I know a lot about you. I read your book, and you spoke on this podcast 6 years ago, but many things since then.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke on the podcast 6 years ago, and I was telling you before the show, I was looking at the show that we did 6 years ago, and I'm going to say more or less the same things now. And that's a really good sign that what I was saying 6 years ago is still true today, and it's all about brand. And you mentioned we're trying to reach humans, and 100%. And a lot of the time in SEO, people forget that, and GEO, people forget that. The idea that these are assistive engines, I think, is really important. If you talk about generative engine optimization, you're talking about the way the machine works. And for me, that's not the right way to talk about it. You should be talking about what the machine helps people with. It's an AI assistive engine. So we use them as an assistant to find the best solution to our problem as efficiently as possible. So we're optimizing the machines to help our ideal audience. That is a really good way of looking at it. And you mentioned social media, and I'm going to give you a really quick trick to kick the show off, is if you imagine how much content is created on social media every day. 10 years ago, somebody told me Google probably picks up 30% of Facebook posts. And I think that's probably exaggerating. And certainly today it's exaggerating. It's going to be 5% at best on all of these platforms. All of that social media stuff you're doing is not getting picked up by the search engines, certainly not by ChatGPT, who don't have the means to pick up as much as Google do. So what do? You create a page on your website with our social media accounts, one page per social media account, and you link to your most important posts. Once a week, you change those posts and you get Google to crawl it. That ensures that your important posts are being seen by the search engines, and the engagement you're getting on them is being seen by the search engines and the assistive engines. That's a really neat trick, and it works incredibly well.
Wow, nice. Jason, I want to ask about what I can see today, many webmasters are still looking for ways how to manipulate the system, how to find the way, how to be mentioned on ChatGPT, Perplexity, and we have many guides. But what I can see, first, things are changing fast. Probably if you can find the way, I don't know how, but even if you can find the way how to manipulate the system, it doesn't mean that the system is not evolving. It's evolving so fast, and 50% of all results are changing each month. Also, we have personalized experience, and I don't know, many experts can say you don't need to track your AI mentions because each user can get different replies. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, the personalization is absolutely huge. And with Google now, they're saying with AI mode, they're looking across your entire Google account to personalize for you. ChatGPT using your history to personalize for you. And people don't really realize to what extent that's true. And in our work, we have a huge problem with people saying, actually, when I search my company name or my personal name, ChatGPT, Google, Gemini, Perplexity gets it right. And they don't realize that the machine is just saying back to them what they've actually said to the machine. That if somebody else searches for them or asks them about, does the due diligence, which is what we're now calling it, you do your due diligence in the AI assistive engines, they get an absolutely completely different result. And that personalization is, as you said, means that we can't know what people are seeing. What we can see, though, is what the machine is saying about the brand, but you need to do that not in your own account. So tracking your brand term and branded terms and competitor versus brand terms within the AI is a really good idea. You track that because then you know what the AI thinks about you. And what we do at Kalicube with Kalicube Pro, which is our SaaS platform, now, in fact, patent protected, multiple patent protected platform, is track all of those. And we see, as we do our work optimizing the digital footprint of the brand, we see them improving over time. And what, as you said rightly, it changes very rapidly which citations, which URLs these engines are using. What doesn't change is the fundamental meaning of what they're saying and the sentiment of what they're saying. So you can move them very effectively from saying, hedging their bets, which we see a lot. On the website of company X, we see, or they say, XYZ. What you want is for the machines to be saying, company X is a great or a leading digital marketing company, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. So being absolutely firm about what they're saying about the company as a fact, and using adjectives that are positive, so injecting positive sentiment, and preferably mentioning success, numbers, served 500 clients, huge success with 7,000 clients, whatever the numbers are. So you want accuracy, you want positive sentiment, and you want numbers.
Nice. I have the question about your company Kalicube, because we have many big players, well-known players like SEMrush, Ahrefs, Profound, new companies. So, and all of them are switching their attention by now from probably, they still have keyword research, but they market more today AI search, AI brand mentions. Can you tell about your strong side? Why you're better than, or why customers need to use Kalicube, not these well-known companies?
Yeah, well, I love their switching is the key. You're saying they're now all switching to brand, and we've always been about brand. So I have 10 years head start. I started Kalicube in 2015 and built Kalicube Pro, which is our SaaS platform, and started it with a data set of 10,000 companies and people, companies and entrepreneurs. And I built that up to 73 million entities in our system.
Wow.
And by starting small, I spent a lot of time making sure that our data is incredibly pristine. And I've only started to scale it once I was sure that every time I scaled up, the accuracy of the data we were adding was 97% in line with what we already had. So our data is 1 million entrepreneurs and their companies, 73 million brands and 25 billion data points. But it's pristine because I've built it by hand myself from that initial data set of 10,000 that I hand picked. And you can imagine sitting through a list of 10,000 to handpick those entities was a big job at the start. And a friend of mine said to me, "You're wasting your time. That's a huge waste of time. It's a huge waste of, you could be out there making money doing consultancy." But I did it, and I'm now incredibly glad that I did it, because I can stand by our 25 billion data points 100%.
Awesome. Jason, you know.
Oh, and the other reason, I'll give you another great reason. You very kindly said at the beginning that you love my ideas and the way that I think and my approach to all of this, and compared me favorably to people like Brian Dean and Rand Fishkin, which is absolutely lovely to hear. But behind that data, I've built algorithms that are just my brain in a machine. So especially the last 6 months, I've just spent 6 months taking everything in my brain and putting it into a structured system within Kalicube Pro that then deals with the data on a one brand plus its market basis to understand exactly what to do. So we track search, we track Google and Bing, we track AI, we've got the citations, we've got the text, but we've also got 25 billion data points and my brain as a structured system within Kalicube Pro, and then the algorithms that I've added on top. And if you can imagine, Kalicube Pro now is basically, ask Kalicube Pro what you need to do. Kalicube Pro will tell you what I would have told you to do. You don't need to pay Jason Barnard for consultancy anymore. Just ask Kalicube Pro.
Awesome, guys. I recommend anyone. You can find the link in the description below. And Jason, you know, I'm terrible with forecast. I failed to forecast an American president. I failed.
Me too.
I remember like 10 years ago, one of my friends came to me and asked, "Do you want to buy this new money, Bitcoin? Just take 1,000 Bitcoins." I denied. I don't know what is it. It's the future money. It will cost a lot. I replied, no, I don't need it. Take 100 Bitcoins. No, even 1 Bitcoin. I don't need it. You know, so it's not my strong side. But in 2017, you started to speak about something that today almost everyone can speak about: AEO, answer engine optimization. Can you tell more about that? How you can forecast such things?
Well, what was really interesting about that at the time was that I was talking about brand in search from 2015 in France. I started giving talks about that. And then when featured snippets turned up, I realized very quickly these are answers, and that's where we're going. And that insight, it's, I think, seeing the bigger picture of a small change. So knowledge panels, which I've been focusing on since 2015 when I started Kalicube, are facts. It's an answer. And then feature snippets are an answer. And then people also ask is a question with an answer. So that was very clearly evolving already in 2017. Then we had also voice search was a big deal at that time. And I was focusing a lot on voice search. Voice search is one answer, there is no second place. And when it didn't turn out as we thought it would, that voice search would become the biggest thing in the universe. But what did happen is we realized that we're going towards a one answer situation, which in AI is actually the perfect click. So when we're talking about answers, it's not only answers along the way in feature snippets and people also ask, or even just the answer within the AI assistive engine. It's that the AI assistive engine, Copilot, Gemini, AI Mode, ChatGPT, Perplexity are all keeping the user within what I call walled garden. They don't visit your site. That's unfortunate. It's bad for marketers because that's what we all banked on for so many years. But it's bringing the user down the funnel to what we call the perfect click, the zero-sum moment in AI, which has replaced the zero moment of truth that Google invented 15 years ago, I think it was. So what we're now looking at is a world where the answers are within the engine, the funnel is within the engine, and as marketers, what we're aiming for is that perfect click, the zero-sum moment in AI when the client says to the engine, okay, I've understood that I have multiple choices for the solution to my problem. I understand you've given me the solution to my problem. Who should I pick? You want the engine to say, pick Kalicube.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you a lovely little story, which I tell quite a lot. I'm a double bass player. So I play the contrabass, the big
No
bass.
worries.
And I've got a huge bass amplifier just over here. But I wanted to learn to play the guitar on my own so that I could play gigs on my own, because of this double bassist, you can't play a gig on your own. So I thought, well, I need to buy a guitar amplifier, but I didn't want to spend money on a guitar amplifier because I've got a really cool bass amp here. So I asked ChatGPT, can I play a guitar through a bass amp? It said, yes, you can. You won't break it, but it will sound terrible. I said, okay, how do I make it sound good? It said, you need equalizer, compressor, and reverb. Okay, how do I do that? You buy 3 pedals, one of each. Which ones should I buy? Then it said, here are 3 examples. How much would that cost? $250. I said, oh, $250, don't want to spend that. I'm not a professional musician. Could I get those pedals for less? Yes, you can get these other 3 pedals for $125. Brilliant, I'll do that. Where can I buy them? And it said, if you're in the US, you buy from Sweetwater. If you're in Europe, you buy from Thomann. That was it. That was all the choice I got. I said, okay, I'm in Europe. And it gave me the link to Thomann. And within 20 minutes of asking, can I actually play my guitar through the bass amp? Within 20 minutes, I'd bought 125 euros in the end worth of material from Thomann, because they were the answer. Yeah. Full stop.
Nice. Yeah. And what do you think about AI agents? But basically, what we can see by now, that ChatGPT, Perplexity, all of them build systems where customers don't need to leave platforms to buy products. So basically, you shared your story when you got links, but in the future, AI agents will go to this website and you can buy directly from AI search.
Yeah.
What do you think? How to adapt content for AI agents that can figure out that your product is better?
Yeah, no, 100%. So after AI assistive engine optimization, you have AI assistive agent optimization. That's where you're going. So assistive agent optimization is going to be the standard in the industry in a couple of years' time. I'm working on that with a company called WordLift, who are great friends of ours, and Authoritas. So the idea that assistive agent optimization is the future is without a doubt a fact. It's coming. Then the question is, how do you get the agent to choose you? And how do you walk it through the buying process? So walking it through the buying process is going to be mechanical. It's going to be, how do you set up the website technically, whether it's MCP or something else? It's going to be a mechanical process. But how do you get it to choose you is the big one. And that's still brand optimization in AI. So it's still what I'm doing today and still what I was doing 10 years ago. Optimize your brand so that Google, ChatGPT, Perplexity trust you and see you as the best, most reliable solution in your industry for a specific problem. So you need to be what I call top of algorithmic mind. When somebody says, I need to buy an effects pedal for my guitar, Thomann is top of algorithmic mind in Europe. Seawater, I think it's called, is top of algorithmic mind in America. You have to be that.
Yeah.
Top of algorithmic mind at the moment the machine makes the decision for the user, in this case, in the case of an agent, when the machine makes the decision for the user, I will buy this product or this service from that specific provider. Yeah. That's going to be nuts. I'm looking forward to it. Because that's truly a zero-sum game. There is no second place. Absolutely. Because the human doesn't get involved anymore.
Yeah. I agree. Okay, let's get back to SEO, especially link building is the most hardest part. And today, according to data, AI search can prefer content links from fresh pages, mostly. And I mean, like we used for a long time strategies done by Brand, like skyscraper technique, broken link building. All of them were great, but in the last probably 2 years, we don't see huge impact from these methods. It doesn't mean that it's not working. Probably it's not working good for us, but PR today is like most recommended with many guys. Guest post, because it's like from fresh pages, probably never die. We'll see. But you mentioned about link juice. Can you tell more about that? how it's important today to interlink content and consider old playbooks like with link juice?
Yeah, I mean, what I love today is link juice has been a little bit turned on its head. Is right back at the beginning in 1998 when I started building my first website. People were giving links because it was what the internet was about. It was helping people find information on a very messy web that didn't really have a system and didn't have a Google who would actually organize the content for us. And then with PageRank and the effect that PageRank had on visibility in search, people started to become very protective of their link juice. And I've always hated that. I've always found that really annoying. I understand why people did it. That's not the question. But for me, the web is about finding things. And the more you protect your link juice, the more you hand the power to Google. And I think that's unfortunate. So people weren't linking out. So people would come to your website and they would go back to Google instead of going off to another website through the link that you've provided. So I've always argued that protecting your link juice wasn't necessarily a good thing to do. And today, because of the way LLMs and search engines and knowledge graphs work, you have to link out to the proof. So there are two things to unpack there. Number one is the Algorithmic Trinity. That every single AI assistive engine works on a foundation of three technologies: search engines, knowledge graphs, and LLM chatbots. The LLM chatbot is there for the conversation. The search results are there for the fresh information and niche information that the LLM doesn't have in its knowledge. And the knowledge graph is there to fact check. So you have the Algorithmic Trinity. They're all built in the same way, whichever one you look at. And they're all going to be built in that way with those three technologies for years and years and years to come. So you need to focus on that. If you just focus GEO on it, for example, on LLMs, you're missing search and you're missing knowledge graphs. If you just focus on search, you're missing LLMs and knowledge graphs. You need to focus on three, which is what Kalicube does, of course. And the Kalicube Pro platform tracks all three, and the analysis that we do is on all three at all times. That's point number one. Point number two is claim frame proof. And this is the one I love because it works so well. Rather than saying I need inbound links to give me PageRank and power in search, which I'll remind you is only one of the three of the Algorithmic Trinity, you need to claim frame prove everything. So I'll give you an example. Online reputation management. I've never talked about it in my life. But I make a claim. I coined the term brand SERP. I have been the leader and the inspiration for brand SERP for the last 13 years. Claim. I've specialized in knowledge graphs since, knowledge panels, since 2015, 10 years. Claim. Brand SERPs and knowledge panels are in effect online reputation management because online reputation management is about the search result for your name. Therefore, I am a world expert in online reputation management. That's framing. Then I need to prove it, and I just link out to the proof for the brand SERP, for the knowledge panel, and then anything I have said about online reputation management, which I mentioned with Olesya Korobka years ago when I was visiting Kiev. That's the proof. So I've made two claims, framed it into a third claim, and then proved it. And now if you search for who are leading world experts in online reputation management, you will find my name. But it was never my specialist topic. So that's a quite extreme example of the angle, the framing that you do. But if I want the AI to cite me when people are talking about or asking them about knowledge panels, for example, how do I build a knowledge panel? If I want the AI to say Jason Barnard, and then when they say, who should I ask to help me with this professionally? I want it to say Kalicube. I need to prove that we are the experts in knowledge panels. And that's by third-party corroboration. And that requires that from my entity home website, kalicube.com, jasonbarnard.com, not only do I get inbound links in the traditional manner, but I link out to the proof that I am indeed a world expert in knowledge panels.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense because...
sorry, I've got another point. Sorry, the pushback on that is often people say, but I'm losing link juice. And you say, yes, you are, I agree. But link juice is actually only really important to Google. It's not important to LLMs. It's not important to the knowledge graph. And the benefit you get from linking out from the claim for improve approach to the algorithmic trinity is significantly higher than the benefit you just get from the inbound link juice. So you're losing some link juice, but it's link juice which only actually attaches itself to 1/3 of the algorithmic trinity. But the linking out will get you traction in all 3 of the algorithmic trinity. So the loss that you have is vastly outweighed by the gain. Sorry, I really had to say that because it's an important point.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, it's important. I understand because what I can see today when many experts, users can complain that AI search can hallucinate or mislead or provide this data. That is why AI platforms are looking for ways to get proof. So they wanna just mention trustworthy resources. That is why it's very important. Yeah, I completely agree.
100%. Yeah, no, and what? Sorry, that made me want to. With Kalicube, Jason, Barnard, and our clients, it doesn't hallucinate because I've educated them.
Yeah,
and if you look at these algorithms, say, well, I'm actually trying to educate. I used to say a child, but now I say you're trying to educate. You're trying to train your sales force. If you look at these machines and say, okay, Google, ChatGPT, Perplexity are my sales force, but they're currently selling for the competition. I need to train them to sell for me. That will change your perspective of how you approach them. You need to train this AI sales force to sell for you and not for your competition. And that's a lovely way of looking at it.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about EEAT, another terminology. So I think it's very important in AI search to get this trust and authority, to get to confirm and get this proof. So, but you made this abbreviation more harder. You added two letters, notability and transparency. So for now, it's like NEEATT. Can you tell me about that?
And I apologize to the entire world that I made it more complicated, but it's really important. I think Google obviously talk about EEAT, and that's the obvious bit. You need to be experienced, you need expertise, you need authority, and you need to be trustworthy. But Jarno van Driel, a friend of mine who's an expert in schema markup, was talking to me about transparency. And you say, actually, yes, a company that isn't transparent about who they are, what they do, who they serve, and isn't transparent about their expertise, their experience, their authoritative and trustworthiness, gets no credibility at all. So your EEAT means nothing if you're not transparent. That's point number one. Then point number two is notability. That's a multiplier on every single one. So if you take any aspect of EEAT, it will be amplified by notability within your field. So you can be the most credible source, the most expert, the most experienced, the most authoritative, the most trustworthy. But you will only win the game if you're more notable, more famous than your competition.
Of course. Yeah.
So Google didn't say that because notability is going to come back to how do I get myself out there? It's all about PR. And you've got, it's a lovely sandwich because you've got EAT with N at the beginning and T at the end. Transparency being the foundation. Without it, you don't have any credibility, and notability, which is the multiplier. So go out and build your NEAT, we can now say.
Yeah, nice. Love it. Yeah, I remember I have another question according to this topic. So when I started in 2008, I created my first website. And cool. At that time, I didn't have experience to create quality content. So I created just generic content, nothing special, just useless rewriting, but Google ranked well because it's not because Google was not good enough. Mostly competition was low. Many websites still pay attention. Many companies pay attention to yellow pages. But when Panda was released, we changed approaches to pay attention to quality. We acquired some experience how to write better content. But in 2019, we stopped our cooperation with all copywriters when EAT came to the life, and so we started to cooperate with experts as we do today. So for us, I don't care if experts can use ChatGPT to create content or any other model. I don't care. I care about results. If they can bring quality, Okay, let's take it, because from my experience, we get the best results with AI-generated content. But all this content was driven by experts who know the topic, who know how to write, who know which prompts to use, and how to edit results to get quality. Jason, you mentioned about sales funnel a little bit, and about EEAT and how it's now NEEATT. So, but it's tough to pronounce everything.
Sorry.
Yeah, but I want to ask about creating the right strategy, content plan, because I see when companies, when they open SEMrush, Ahrefs, any other tools, they see high volume keywords and think it's better to take them for topical authority. Just, I mean, like to write some articles that never get traffic, or even if they get traffic, they never bring sales. So, but they take these topics in order to bring topical authority. What do you think about that? It's a good idea or not?
No, I've always hated that too. Link building and keywords at the top of the funnel are two things that have annoyed me for a long time. If you think about what you're doing there, you'll realize that you're making a mistake. Because if you think about the funnel within AI now, it's worse than it used to be for this kind of strategy. We have AI walled gardens. So walled gardens 2.0 is ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google, keeping the user in their environment from top to bottom of the funnel without visiting any websites. So you don't have any opportunity to interact with the user on the way down the funnel as a brand, unless the AI chooses to cite you. So what you're doing, if you aim at the top and you get any kind of traction with the top of the funnel keywords or terms, as the user comes down the funnel in the walled garden, you're going to get forgotten, and you're going to send that user to your competition. Because the machine doesn't understand you at the bottom of the funnel, it will never recommend you. Therefore, you've lost the sale. So all of your work at the top of the funnel is totally wasted and is simply sending people to your competition. I would argue that's a mistake. The other thing, of course, the top of the funnel is huge, and trying to hit the whole of the top of the funnel is a massive mistake. So we turn it upside down. We don't start at the top of the funnel. We think about the top of the funnel. Query pathways, we call them, is what's the top of the funnel query that should naturally lead to my brand. I figure that out, but I don't optimize for that top of the funnel query. I optimize for my brand with the aim of guiding the person down the funnel. And then I start with my brand. Who am I? What do I do? Who do I serve? And why I'm the best. So that when the person does get to the bottom of the funnel, to my perfect client at the bottom, I'm much more likely to be recommended for that perfect click than my competition. That's the brand. Then I move up to the middle of the funnel, the comparison, the consideration stage. When people are looking for the best of in industry, I aim for those queries second. So I start with the brand queries, then the comparison queries and the consideration queries. Only then do I go up to the top of the funnel. But I don't start until I've identified the user pathway from the top of the query funnels that should lead to me. And then I claim, frame, and prove my way from the bottom of the funnel to the top, and I dominate my market.
Yeah, nice. I agree. I couldn't agree more. I think even top funnel can confuse Google about the real goal of your website. So I remember when I wrote an article, how to earn money online, and we got a lot of traffic. But after 3 months, my sales department said to me, please remove it. Remove this article, because they got plus 5-10 requests a day with the question how to earn money online, how to earn money with gaming, how to earn money with binary options. and yeah, I decided to remove, because I don't need this traffic. It's just thousands of people every single day just read something that we don't sell.
and it's astonishing how few companies see that that's a problem. Talking about something that isn't going to appeal to your ideal audience is foolish. So as you said, making money online, if the ideal audience that you have is not out there to buy from you a system for making money online, that's a completely pointless exercise.
Yeah.
But the attraction is always saying to your boss, look at all this traffic we've got. But now we're in a world where AI assistive engines are keeping people in the funnel, they're walled gardens. You're not going to get the traffic. You're suddenly stuck. Back in the day, in 1998, 2000, when banner ads first came out, we used to get 2% click rate on them. And everybody was selling this 2% click rate on banner ads. And then very quickly, the click rate went down to 0.001%. And because the KPI that people had been selling was clicks, they suddenly found themselves trying to argue something different. And now we're in the same situation here, is we've been focusing so much on traffic. Now that the traffic is going down because it's staying in the funnel on the AI assistive engines, and not because search volume is going down, it isn't, it's going up. Then we now have to find a new KPI. And the new KPI is, of course, the perfect click. And with AI assistive agent, it's going to be the sale.
Yeah.
So we're moving from clicks and visits to the perfect click, i.e. the most valuable clicks of very, very relevant audience members, to the actual sale as our only KPI. So I would advise everybody to start focusing on the conversion of the sale now, so that you don't set unreasonable expectations for your client and that your business can survive in a world where agents are making the decisions for people.
Yeah, nice. And I spoke with Harry Sanders. So basically, he built an agency that has revenue plus 20 millions revenue. Big agency. SEMrush made a reward for this agency. And he told me he doesn't know the traffic for his website. He doesn't know, but he knows that 40% of all sales are coming from SEO. He never tracks website traffic.
I like him.
Yeah, but he tracks all sales. So, yeah, I think it's a very good idea. Okay, Jason, let's talk about Algorithmic Trinity. Something that you shared.
No, I mentioned them earlier on, and it's really exciting. I've been talking about this for a couple of years now, and it really is the three-legged stool that I see all the time. Is people say, I'm going to optimize for the LLMs. This is how the LLMs generate their answers. Therefore, I'm going to reverse engineer that and beat the system by manipulating the LLMs. That's only one thing. That's only one leg of the stool. You're manipulating the conversation, which is great. Manipulate the conversation, brilliant. But you also need the search results, because the search results are going to bring the niche information and the up-to-date information. But then, as you said, in order to avoid hallucinating, you need the knowledge graph. And that's the fact-checking aspect. If you don't optimize for all three, you're going to get dropped either today or tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. And that optimization for all three, the really lovely thing about it is they all use the same data source, which is the web index. So we come back to this idea of saying you have to optimize for the web index. It's the data source, and you have to get to the front of the queue in the web index, because all of the algorithmic trinity, the LLMs, the search engines, and the knowledge graphs are pulling information out of the web index for their own use. They all have different aims, they all have different algorithms, they all have different needs, but they're all using the web index. So you need to make sure that all of your content is indexed and annotated with confidence, accurately and with confidence. And that annotation phase is something that people completely ignore. If you want me to go into that, I can.
Yeah.
If you look at crawling and indexing, you go through discovery, selection, crawling, rendering, indexing. DCSRI. Those are the 5 stages. And you need to reduce friction to an absolute minimum for the bot. When it gets to indexing, it takes the page and it chunks it. It breaks it into passages. You need to make sure that your HTML5 is perfectly aligned so that it can easily chunk the content, identify what role it plays in the page and what's in that content. It extracts each piece of content as a chunk. It analyzes it using an LLM, or if it understands your topical niche, it will use an SLM, a small language model that's specialized, which is much better because it's cheaper for them and it's going to give better results. And it annotates the piece of content. And when it annotates it, it has 24 pieces of information: entities, attributes, relationships, recency, and 20 others. And it labels them using little, let's say, little post-its. So it says this is about this entity, relationship to that entity, it has that attribute, and the recency is this, and its temporal importance is Y. And it assigns a confidence score to each piece of information it adds into that annotation, and it sticks it in the index. The other algorithms do not use the content to select what they're going to use within their analysis for the search, for the knowledge graph, or for the LLM. They use the annotations. So not only do you have to make your content frictionless for the bot to get to the index point, but you have to make it incredibly frictionless, once again, for it to be able to annotate every single aspect, all 24 angles, with confidence. Because the one that's the best annotated, that has the highest confidence score in that annotation, is going to win. It's always going to be selected first. It has a huge advantage.
Yeah.
Sorry, I saw a question was on screen, but I was in the middle of my flow.
Yeah. The question on the screen for someone who can listen to this podcast, about is SEO AI available? Of course, if you listen to the entire episode, you can learn from Jason, and he still uses methods that he used many years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So because it's paying attention to the foundation and especially brand recognition. Probably Jason was the first who said, at least to me, about that, because I overpaid attention to SEO and ignoring brand recognition. That was mistake. For now, with all clients that we work, we start with branding. It's very important to start with branding. Jason, I have my final question about your company. So you track billion results, but I spoke with many data experts, and many of them can say that when you have a lot more data than you need, it can confuse. And I see totally the same. When someone can open SEMrush, Ahrefs, put any keyword, let's imagine weight loss. Yeah, they can see a lot of keywords. They don't know where to start and create some useless content plans trying to catch everything. So can you tell how you can help customers who don't have great knowledge and skills about that with your data? Don't overload them and lead them in the right direction.
Oh, that's a lovely question. Thank you. Yeah. If we come back to the previous answer, the web index is the source of information for all three of the algorithmic trinity. You have control over your own digital footprint. What we do is optimize the brand's digital footprint. So we take control of what we can. So we pull in every URL that already talks about you, and we prioritize them using our very, very, very focused brand data set. So we're not hitting the top of the funnel with our data set. 25 billion data points, all about brand. So it's very specialized, very focused. And as you said, if you spread your data set too wide, which we haven't, you will get confused answers and too much information. So we focus that information onto how to improve the representation of your brand in Google, ChatGPT, Perplexity. And then we prioritize the URLs. You then go through the URLs by order of importance. And that's the thing, order of importance to the search engines, to the LLMs, and to the knowledge graphs. And it isn't the ones that are most visible that are necessarily the most important. So we have the algorithms, my brain in the Kalicube Pro system, that will then prioritize the URLs. Once we prioritize the URLs, you click on a button, optimize this URL, you go through, and you can use our AI assistants that are built using your brand persona, the brand data that we have about you, and every claim that you have and how you want to frame it. So if you go back in this episode to listen to the claim, frame, proof part, that will all make sense. And it will rewrite the content for you so that it serves the algorithmic trinity. It serves each aspect of the algorithmic trinity in the best way possible with your claiming and framing, and then links it to the proof. Then you publish that content and you can track the results in Kalicube Pro. But the advantage of Kalicube Pro is that we're focused on brand. Once again, we're at the bottom of the funnel, building that foundation. On that foundation, you can start to build a house. And the house is then the consideration stage, which we also build, and then the awareness phase. But it has to be in that order. If you want to work from the top of the funnel down, go to SEMrush. Please go to SEMrush.
Yeah.
If you want to work from the bottom of the funnel up, don't go to SEMrush. Come to Kalicube.
Nice. I love it. I love it.
Me too.
It's very important. Jason, it's real fun, very valuable for me. So you can get back anytime to bring more valuable insights. So you don't need to wait 6 years. If you want to bring more value, please join me. Tell the best way how to keep learning from you, how to reach out to you, how to follow you.
Yeah, search my name on Google, ChatGPT, Perplexity, DeepSeek, Grok, any of them. Search my name and say, how can I get in contact with Jason? Or what could you tell me about Jason Barnard? You have to say, just Jason, you wouldn't get a great result. Jason Barnard. And they'll tell you how to get in touch with me. They'll tell you everything that I might tell you. And I had an idea the other day. If you're wondering about your digital marketing strategy or your SEO strategy or your AI strategy, give your version of ChatGPT that knows your business really well because you've been talking to it for the last couple of years. Ask it what I would tell you to do. The results are stunningly good.
Wow.
And it's really, really, really impressive. And that's a really good starting point. I'm not saying it's going to give the perfect advice because it doesn't have Kalicube Pro in its brain. Kalicube Pro is my brain in a machine. ChatGPT knows a lot of all the public stuff that I've published. So it can give you a very good idea of what I would tell you to do.
Yeah, I also recommend to take Jason Barnard book. I read this book. I don't know if you updated with AI search, but if you didn't change a lot for the last 5 years, it can bring a lot of value, guys. It's very important. I'm going to take this book again because we have short memory. Sometimes we need to memorize something. So I'm going to read it again. And I recommend to anyone to read this book because you can get a lot of valuable insights. Jason, thanks a lot. A big pleasure to get on my show, to learn from you. I love this experience. Welcome back anytime to bring more value. And thank you guys for listening to us.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.